Here we go. So yes, Izzy versus Yoshi Bowser. Coil versus Bite and Bark. So yeah, obviously, Yoshi, your local Bite and Bark player, and already getting hit by Izzy in this first exchange. But yeah, understandable that they would go to Mausoleum. I like to say that this is one of the most neutral stages in the game, with no corners whatsoever, until that that trampoline just comes up and ruins someone's day. I do feel like if the trampoline comes up, Izzy will have a field day as Coil. But Yoshi is not a bad player by any means, so we'll see how it goes. Yeah, already we're seeing one very even match going into this bracket. Very good CK confirmed by Yoshi here. Izzy on the cusp of dying. Gotta be very careful. Cannot afford to get hit anymore in this round. But he does have Rush. Yoshi is going to have Rush right now. And Izzy's gonna bust out the Rush to get that KO. Interesting play here. Unfortunately, that means Yoshi goes into second round with Rush advantage, but Izzy does manage to clutch out that first round. Yeah, Yoshi already back to going back to neutral. Neutral was working very well. He's going to use this Rush to counter the grab. Unfortunately, it's not going to get the full damage he was looking for. And already Yoshi in a little bit of a better position than in round 1. He does have that slight health lead, same as round 1. But once again, there is no clear winner coming out of this. The arms were disabled here on Yoshi's side. Unfortunately, is he not going to be able to get much out of it? Bark slowly but surely doing his job as well on the side. Unfortunately, gonna get knocked down here. And the trampoline is almost getting broken here. And once again, we are in a situation where both players have Rush, and Izzy is gonna spend the Rush once again, getting that first match in. Very nicely done by Izzy. Yeah, once again, Yoshi Bowser getting caught off guard at the end of the round by that Rush. Which is a little bit surprising. But it happens. It's the best way I can put it. It happens. Whoa, did I... Wait, I didn't pick the stage. Sorry about that. I do not have the right stage set right now. Because they were supposed to go to Ninja College, for the record. Wasn't fast enough. Sometimes players are just too fast for me, you know? It happens, you know. It's fine. Do be like that sometimes. Like, this is the problem with only having one screen, to be fair. That I can't look at Discord at the same time as I look at everything else. This is a very cramped up setup, to say the least. But anyways, my bad. So we said Ninja College. Sorry about that. We're back on track. We are back on track. So this time it's the real game 2. Yeah, Ninja College. I do not know how this stage is going to work for Bite and Bark. Fortunately, Yoshi Bowser does manage to get the top side first. And we have the Biffler on Yoshi's right arm, which is a very interesting anti-air arm. Fortunately, does not have the knockdown capabilities of a Hydra, but it's still a very good anti-air arm, and I'm not too surprised that I see it here against a Coil. But Coil can just have a field day on that stage, and there we go! Easy with a very quick round here. Yeah, going into round 2, and now Yoshi is completely stuck in the bottom park. He is going to use that Slamamanda though, which does seem to work out a little bit better for him, but unfortunately he's gonna get broken here. Yeah, Yoshi slowly but surely making a little bit of ground against Izzy. Is going to do the counter rush. Once again, does not get the full confirm off of that CQ rush, which is unfortunate. Could have been very big damage. And Izzy is going to counter rush of their own. And this time the full rush is going to connect 365% with the grab. It's going to be a quick game. Izzy goes to winners round 2. So yeah, don't forget as well, if you want to follow the bracket as it's going on, there's probably an exclamation mark bracket command in the chat, which I can't type right now. Because once again, very cramped up setup. But yeah, congratulations to Izzy for moving on to round 2. And for our next match, we're gonna have Dazza versus Mr Edel. Of course, Mr. Edel with the coil. Dazza, I would guess, would go Ninjara. Not completely sure. But yeah, we'll see. Yeah, we're currently waiting on the picks. I will say we are now 2 matches in, and we already haven't seen the tempo rounds, so progress, I guess. Full do be like that. Okay, we're going sparring ring. Very aggressive stage. Curious to see how it all goes. Yeah, thought so. So what you can't see as well is that I have cheats on the screen to know what characters people usually play. Just tells me, so... Yeah, as I said, new software. Trying to make it better for everybody. Yeah, I haven't seen Dazza in a hot minute, like, haven't seen him in a while. It's good to see him back. But against Mr. Edel's coil, this is going to be a very tough match. Because We've seen Edel, we've seen the coil from Edel. And definitely a very strong player. And yeah, there's a Guardian on the screen as well, which is not something I would have expected going into this. And that rush is going to miss. Unfortunately, wasted rush by Mr. Edel. Does not matter too much though at this point in the match. Dazza is soon going to get rush, but can he get it before he gets KO'd? Unlikely. Yeah, this grab is going to kill. But yeah, that was a weird interaction and a weird waste of a rush from Mr. Edel, who's already at half rush, by the way. Once again, coil, free arms, can build rush very quickly. Said it before and I'll say it again. Coil building rush is it's an easy task, to be fair, for the coil. And then we've got two Guardians slowly coming in on Dazza. It's going to stun, it's going to be a grab. Mr. Edel in a very good position right now. We've got the pokes from the toaster, coming in hot. Yeah, the Guardian actually doing a lot of work here. That ominous presence of the Guardian, sometimes two Guardians. But it seems that Mr. Edel can't help but punch his own Guardian. This is going to escape that rush very easily though. Dazza in a very dire situation. Gosh, look at that Guardian just coming in. The grab confirmed here. Dazza on his last legs in this first match. And that's going to be it. One game to Mr. Edel. I need to see if I can set the transition sound lower. I need to double check. But yeah, for the record, we do have Dazza saying that he hates Guardian in the Discord chat, so... Understandable, I want to say. This is not an easy arm to go against when you're not used to it with the very slow movement of the Guardian. I would argue that clapback is probably the better shield arm, but Guardian can still be very effective with that electric element, and a lot of stun. So we are waiting on Dazza's stage pick. Also, I have a little bit of sore throat today. Dazza, you're supposed to pick. Like, I know it's been a while, but you're supposed to pick from what's left. But yeah, in case there is anyone new in the chat, first off, welcome. And second, yeah, ARMS uses a ban system very similar to... wait, DNA was banned. Very similar to what we use in Smash, where in the first game, there's a 1-2-1 system of bans, where one player bans one, then the other player bans two, and then the other player picks between the two remaining stages. And then in the counterpick stages, the winner just bans two stages in the counterpick list. And then the loser picks the stage in the remaining list. It seems that we're going to go to Buster Beach. Not exactly sure about the stage pick, to be fair. I don't know... See, we don't actually see Buster Beach that often, I feel like. Ooh, and Mr. Edel going Helix! What a surprising development! I'm going to flex out that Helix. I see that Parabola. Yeah, the Parabola's out. Parabola and Tri-Blast. And I want to see the Mr. Edel Helix, to be fair. Lots of towering right now happening, obviously. And Edel doing a great job so far. Fighting while being in the corner, though Dazza is quickly going to get back some health on him. But he is stuck in the corner now. Dazza slowly coming out. Nades are coming in. Another grab! And Mr. Edel punishing with the rush. Unfortunately not going to get the full rush in. But that is fine. Mr. Edel still at deficit. Dazza with the rush. Will he burn it sooner rather than later? Mr. Edel slowly coming back, by the way. Slowly but surely. Ooh! I saw the attempt of punishing the grab with the rush, but unfortunately Mr. Edel was just a little bit faster and was able to escape it. Shield is low on Dazza. That Hydro Arm is going to could break at any moment. It is back now. And yeah, Mr. Edel now imposing the pressure and manages to get that kill 9 seconds before the end. Very well played. Going into round 2, we have no loadout changes. And Mr. Edel already towering over Dazza. And getting that rush in. This time we're getting the full 270 damage. Not the most damaging rush in the game. Oh yeah, we do have a loadout change. We do have the Toaster. Toaster definitely working out much better. Sorry about that. Dazza is going to get a grab in. But Mr. Edel right now doing a great evasion job. Despite being in the corner, he is going to get caught by that rush though. And that's going to be a grab for Dazza. Tries to go for a second grab. Unfortunately, mistimes it. But Mr. Edel right now is in a difficult position to be in. He is back against the wall. He's got a lot of space that he can make up, obviously. Hiding beneath the little platform of Buster Beach. It's funny you see Helix hide beneath that platform, to be fair. And Mr. Edel slowly coming back. I didn't even notice that's going to be game to Mr. Edel. Dang, I really should pay a little bit more attention, I guess. Yeah, very well played. Mr. Edel moving on to round 2 of winner's bracket. Dazza going into losers. We might see him again. We'll see. But yeah, Edel Helix. That is a that is a good one. Wasn't expecting that today. And it is now time for round 2. Which will be Izzy versus Rifa. And while we wait for the stage bans, I'm going to run the ads real quick. Next week is going to be the EU PR Invitational for the summer season. Lots of good plays here. I don't know if you've seen the PR on Twitter, but this is going to be some... we're going to have some great matches there. It's going to be on October 9th at 7 PM CEST. And I hope you're all excited to see it, because I sure am. Next, in November, we'll have Quarantine Report 4, which is going to be a global tournament, a global charity tournament. Make sure to check them out as well. It is for direct relief. It is for research against COVID-19. We have a little bit of a prize pot already for this tournament for arms. But there's also going to be like a ton of other games like Nickelodeon All-Star, Akatsuki Blitz Camp, a lot of games. So make sure to check them out. And yeah, we are going to go to Mausoleum. Good luck, guys. Have fun. Oh, and we're seeing the Mechanica from Rifa. Dang, lots of interesting character picks today already. Yeah, Rifa going full ice loadout, and Izzy with the opening grab it. That's just going to work. Mechanica not fast enough to escape this one. Fortunately, Izzy going for a lot of grabs in these opening seconds. Once again. And Rifa already knocked down to the ground. Yeah, obviously Toaster and Hydro, two very good arms to have when you're facing a heavy like Mechanica, since it will put them in hard knockdown. And I feel like the Mausoleum trampoline is slowly but surely breaking. Ooh, and that was a shield break. Unfortunately, Rifa is not going to be able to capitalize on that and is going to get caught by that easy rush. The easy rush, not the easy rush, like, whatever. Anyways, round 2! Rifa is at a slight advantage in terms of rush right now. But, yeah, and now going for the ice chain. Izzy is going to see that coming, is going to block that very easily. Rifa seems already to have gotten a lot more of the rhythm from Izzy. Unfortunately, he's going to get caught by the Hydra here. He's going to get caught by the grab here. It is such a complicated matchup for Mechanica, honestly. When you've got a very wavy coil like that, it's going to be very tough for the Mechanica. And already Izzy showing that coil dominance. Why we fear the Doctor so much. Rifa getting some good hits in. Not going to get the chain, not going to get the rush either. And he's slowly coming back. That long range grab, however, is going to be seen from a mile by Izzy. And is going to respond with a grab of his own. We're done. Izzy gets the first point in this match. Well, guess I don't think we're gonna see the Mechanica return. This is going to be my wild guess. And it's time to go back to Ninja College. Oh no, we do see the Mechanica return. Okay. Okay, sure. Ooh, and the Scully on Rifa's side. We've got Scully and Nade. Rifa definitely realizing that at least the ice strategy wasn't working on Izzy. Was able to see from a mile away all of these chains coming in and out. Unfortunately, like right now, Izzy is just applying an insane pressure. And to be fair, yeah, Izzy doesn't really need to change anything to his strategy. The hybrid toaster combo being very efficient against the Mechanica. And on a stage like Ninja College, where Izzy can just go higher and higher and higher and use that float from Coil to his advantage. I'm not completely sure what Riffa was thinking by picking this stage, I will admit. I will fully admit that. Okay, that does mean right now Riffa is on his last HP. Both players have Rush. I doubt that they would use it at this stage in the game. Probably going to keep them in round 2, but no, Riffa going for the Rush. Unfortunately loses it and loses everything in that round. Might we actually see Riffa going down to the losers bracket from winners semifinals? Might we actually see it? It's definitely looking like it, and I think Izzy wants it. He's going to get that rush in. Unfortunately, the Whammers and Scully is not going to do much stun and will allow Izzy to easily punish on hit. And the situation right now is looking very dire for Riffa. He is in the lower side of Ninja College. And that is going to be it. Izzy moves on to winners finals. Very clean match by Izzy. And I will refrain from doing any any stupid jokes around that name. I will refrain from it. Our next match in winners semis is going to be Iceman versus Edel. It is definitely looking like the core supremacy is definitely taking root in Europe right now. Like we've said it in previous EUAC tournaments and other tournaments of the like. That Europe was slowly but surely adopting the ways of the Doctor. And it's definitely working out right now for Izzy. The question is, will Mr. Edel be able to take down the Iceman? We shall see now, after the stage picks. I'm going to need to get some water at some point during the stream, by the way. And we're going back to Mausoleum. Lots of Mausoleum play today. To which I say, fair enough. It's a good stage. It's a good stage. It is a very good stage indeed. And Iceman with the bite and bark. This is going to be a fun one. You know, already Iceman trying out the Mr. Edel with the Guardian once again. Going for that Guardian strategy today, like it worked against Dazza, it could work against Iceman after all. And Iceman on his side is going to have that roaster and that sea key. Very good, good stun here. Just quick enough to get that grab. And Iceman right now is in the health lead, although not too shabby. It's not too bad to recover from Mr. Edel. But if he's going to get stunned into rush once again, obviously that's going to get real hard, much harder, especially after that 425. Finally we see a sticky conversion and it hurts. Mr. Edel right now doing an excellent job at making up the deficit. He's going to go for a rush of his own. Unfortunately, that is not going to connect. And Mr. Edel already has made up the deficit. He's going to get stunned here. I think that is going to be death. Yes, that will be. That Siki is a terrifying arm when used properly. But also a terrifying arm for yourself if you get blown up by it. Bark is down. I repeat, Bark is down. He's going to be back. There he is. And Iceman right now is actually doing a pretty good job at using Bark to his advantage to get that parry shockwave, I feel like. But right now he is going to get heavily punished by Mr. Edel. And this time Iceman is the one in the situation where he has a large deficit. But we did see what that rush can do for Iceman. That Siki rush with the high damage output. But right now it's not looking likely that he's going to use it. He won't get to use it at all right now in this round. And now we have Iceman going for the slaps. For the slam. Knocking out Mr. Edel from the sky with that one. Look at these guardians. Look at these guardians from Mr. Edel. So terrifying when they come to you. And yeah, I can understand the slam to get around those guardians, to be fair. I can understand that pig. Very good parry here. Ooh, very nice punish. Mr. Edel does not get to punish the jump, and Iceman is going to get the rush of his own. Unfortunately, will not get the full Siki damage because he's unequipped it, but it's still a very solid 300 and something damage. Once again, we see Mr. Edel back to the wall with very low HP, but we've seen that he can make up the deficit very quickly if he wants to. It is still going to be a very tough situation to come back from. Trampoline breaking would probably be his best bet as well right now to hamper Iceman's movement. Ooh, and the rush isn't going to connect. That could have been big. 13 seconds. I don't think Mr. Edel is in any position to do anything here. Unfortunately, it is going to be game 2, Iceman. Yeah, that was a very unfortunate round 1 for Mr. Edel. He was getting the comeback and then he got hit by that Siki, and that was it really. Did a pretty good job in round 2, keeping Iceman at bay, but unfortunately wasn't able to capitalize in round 3. And we are now going to see DNA Lab. Which is going to be a much more defensive map. And honestly, with Mr. Edel's current setup, I can see it working. Can definitely see it working. And here's the lab. Ooh, and Mr. Edel with a very nice grab here. Iceman is going to respond. He does have that popper. He does have that popper. Potential for confirms. He's also a very quick arm. Very good for poking. And so far it's definitely doing that job very nicely. That poking job very nicely. You know what? We do have Mr. Edel who's dropped the Guardian. Going for a little bit more of an offensive setup, I feel like, with that Tri-Blast and that roaster, that toaster, sorry. And he's going to get that rush in. Which means he's got a very nice lead against the Iceman right now. And yeah, he's going to get take round 1 very quickly. Going into round 2, Iceman does have rush. Can choose to pop it at any time. And right now, Iceman, well, it's gonna get caught by that chakram. I was about to say very nice movement, but it's going to get caught by that chakram. Mr. Edel once again with the rush. That shield is going to break, but it's not going to lead to much because it's going to break at the end of the rush, unfortunately. He's even going to get punished for that shield break. But Iceman with a rush of his own. Getting back the lead on Mr. Edel. Ooh, that was an interesting camera moment here. And the chakram from Mr. Edel is actually not working too well, I feel like. Iceman's not getting hit too much about it, and Mr. Edel is struggling to get those confirms in. And once again, going for the rush, he's going to get that little bit of damage from the shield break as well. And right now we're in a pretty even state. Pretty much one hit of difference. And Mr. Edel is going to have full shield to be able to shield that. However, he is now in critical. Iceman now in critical himself. And that rush is going to take it. Mr. Edel taking game 2. We are going to game 3. Very nicely done by Mr. Edel, making the necessary adaptations. But yeah, I wasn't completely sure about the chakram, I will be honest. But the chakram did what it needed to do, which is getting those pokes in. Unfortunately, I say unfortunately, but no, it didn't lead to that many confirms, I feel like. But it still did pretty much what it needed to do and got the game in. That being said, the trajectory means that the rush is also very weird to escape. If you want to attempt to escape it instead of blocking it. And for the game 3, we're going to Temple Grounds. Here it is. Here's the Temple Grounds, well, in a minute. The EU Classic, as I like to call it. Iceman sticking with the bite and bark. Which is definitely interesting. Ooh, and I see that Ice Dragon on Iceman's part. He is indeed going to use the Ice Dragon. Which can be a very good arm to catch Edel off guard on the movement. But it's also very slow arm, so... In terms of getting that on reaction, it's going to be much more impossible, I feel like. And right now, Mr. Edel doing a great job hiding behind the pillars. That one is going to break, however. He is going to get hit by that charge Hydra. And yeah, both players right now don't really want to get in, I feel like. And they are quickly getting rid of all those pillars. There's still one left. There it goes. We now have an open stage. I feel like this is when we're gonna start seeing them go a little bit more offensive. Ooh, and both rushes are going to miss. Unfortunately, Bark is going to be collateral damage in that exchange, but yeah, both rushes are going to miss. Ooh, very nice dodge by Mr. Edel of that grab. Very nicely done here. But right now, Mr. Edel's on the back foot. He's going to get rid of Bark once again. And this is going to be a tough situation to come back from. 5 seconds left. Iceman knows it. He's got full shield. There is nothing Mr. Edel can do unless he wants to spend the rush, but he doesn't, so... That means we're going to round 2 with Iceman on match point. Oop, that wasn't what I wanted to do. Sorry about that. Yeah, going into round 2. Once again, we're seeing very much distance play right now from both players. We don't really want to... Both players really don't want to get in too much. Ooh, Mr. Edel going right underneath that bite punch, but he's going to get the rush this time. Which means he's going to be in a very good position right now. But he's going to avoid as well the rush from Iceman. Now Mr. Edel almost has full rush already. Ooh, and a very nice grab by Mr. Edel. Bark unable to save his master, and that is going to be round 2 to Mr. Edel. We are now on match point for both players. Who will come out on top? Ooh, very nice knockout by Iceman. With the delay of the Ice Dragon just barely catching Mr. Edel off guard, killing that rush opportunity. Mr. Edel now has to build rush back while Iceman is all on the cusp of rush. There it is. Ooh, and a very nice chakram here, leading to the grab by Mr. Edel. Evening out the game. Although Mr. Edel is almost at rush full here. There it is. This is going to be very tense. Mr. Edel managing to catch Iceman with the rush is going to get only 230 damage though. Arm is weak on Mr. Edel's side. Mr. Edel, one hit away from dying. And going into loser's bracket. Iceman, also getting hit a few times, going into critical. This is going to be the last hit, and Mr. Edel moving on to winners finals. This is going to be a Coil Ditto winners finals. Yeah, very nicely done by Mr. Edel. Which means, apparently we're going to move in straight into winners finals with Mr. Edel versus Izzy. And yeah, Coil Ditto winners finals. There it is. Also, I will take the time during that break between winners semis and winners finals to announce that I will say in the name of VoD, but it doesn't appear on the PayPal. I have now offered 50 euros to the pot for the EU Invitational next week, which means the pot for this is now sitting at 100 euros. So yeah, the stakes are going to be pretty high next week for the PR Invitational. And yeah, if you missed it, it is going to be on October 9th at 7 PM CEST. So be sure to tune in for that. We're going to see some really hype matches. The bracket isn't finalized yet. We will see it this week, I assume, on Twitter. So make sure to follow EU Arms on Twitter. European Arms, I think it was. European_Arms. To be the first informed when the bracket does drop. Sorry, that was the wrong screen. And it seems we're already getting ready for winners finals. Mr. Edel versus Izzy. And Mr. Edel going Mechanica, avoiding the Coil Ditto. Seeing a lot of Mechanica action this week. I love to see it. Love to see it. Yeah, already Mr. Edel trying to go with the Parabola. But once again, Izzy recognizing the situation, going with the Hydra Toaster. This is just a very nice anti-Mechanica set, I feel like. But right now Mr. Edel showing that he's not going to go down easily, that's for sure. Unfortunately he misses the rush here. Very nice dodges by Izzy. Swerving left and right to avoid that. But right now Izzy is at a health deficit. He does have rush advantage though. So it could all go very fast in his favor. Already making up the deficit right now. Getting a grab of his own. And Mr. Edel almost at the cusp of rush as well. But Izzy is going to barter that rush to secure that first round. Yeah, going into round 2 right away. Mr. Edel in hard knockdown. Once again. And this time it's going to be deflected by the Parabola, thankfully. And Mr. Edel finding that Parabola and getting the grab right out of it. Izzy is going to escape that second parabola shot though. Mr. Edel finding the rush. 300 and something damage. I didn't have time to see it. But once again, Izzy doing a good job at making up the deficit. Unfortunately, he's going to miss that rush. That is going to be crucial. It is going to be a tough situation to come back from suddenly. He cannot afford to get hit, and he got hit. Commentator's curse, everybody. Commentator's curse. Means it's time for round 3. Rush is going to get blocked on Izzy's side. Mr. Edel armoring through. The Trilest is going off and off and off. Izzy on weak shield. But Hydra arm not looking too great. He's going to recover right here though. Very nice grab by Izzy. Going for another grab, trying to read from the right movement, but that is not going to happen. He is going to, however, escape the rush just barely and get a grab right off of it. And Izzy going for the rush, going for the easy kill, and taking game 1 in this set. Now remember, this is winners finals, which means it is best of 5, which means more opportunities to learn from your opponent and adapt. It also means more opportunities for experimenting. But yeah, unfortunately the Mechanica didn't work out for Mr. Edel in this match. We'll see if he sticks to it or if he goes back to coil. We are going to get the run back on DNA though. Yeah, Mr. Edel sticking with the Mechanica. He definitely thinks there's something to that Mechanica that can take down Izzy. And going double nade as well. Yeah, nade is going to be a very fast arm with completely manual aiming, which could be very good to just catch Izzy off guard. But that would require to read Izzy's movement. And right now Izzy's movement has been on point during that entire match. And during the entire bracket, to be fair. But right now Mr. Edel is the one applying the pressure. He's not going to be able to get that long range rush though. Yeah, that nade pressure from Mr. Edel working very well here. However, Izzy slowly making it back as well. Like, there are a lot of exchanges here, lots of poking. Lots of poking happening. Like, this is so close. What you're seeing right now is peak neutral, but Izzy is going to take a slight advantage at the end. Mr. Edel not going to be able to make that cover the deficit in time, and that is going to be round 1 to Izzy. Now both players have rush at the beginning of the round. You can choose to use it whenever. Ooh, and Izzy already punishing hard Mr. Edel's approaches. Or rather, approach attempts. But Mr. Edel is going to be able to find that rush by armoring through. Equalizing the life bars. Even getting a slight lead, but this is going to get grabbed right back. Like, once again, this is a very poking heavy match. With a lot of back and forth. One gets a hit, then the other gets a hit. Izzy does have a slight advantage right now, but he can go... Oh my gosh, the snuff out! From the nade explosion, managing to snuff out Izzy's rush, but he's going to be able to block Edel's rush as well. And Izzy is gonna be able to take game 2. Once again, a very close, very poke heavy match. So yeah, I guess Edel might not like the Ditto too much. But we'll see. Yes, it is out of 5. It is best of 5. So I'm not sure what Edel can do if he sticks to Mechanica right now. Because we have seen, we're going back to DNA Lab by the way, we have seen that the match is pretty even overall. There isn't really a clear dominance of Izzy over Mr. Edel. The Mechanica has been working out pretty great. And here's the Coil Ditto. Like, the Mechanica wasn't too bad. It was just getting caught a little bit too much, if you know what I mean. Because the poking was definitely going back and forth. It just happened to go in the direction of Izzy. Yeah, we can already see that Mr. Edel, obviously a little bit more comfortable with the coil in terms of movement. But Izzy's still managing to get those pokes in and out and in and out. Playing the long distance game like nobody's business. We are definitely observing social distancing in this match. And yeah, I feel like Mr. Edel needs to like readjust to the core right now after 2 games of Mechanica. Shouldn't be too much of a problem, obviously, but it's still a tile. A little bit of time. Ooh, gonna get the end of the rush. Gonna get that 115. Pretty much equal to a single punch. And once again, we're back in the situation where both players pretty much are even. But right now, I feel like Mr. Edel has a little bit more difficulty getting those pokes in that he had in the previous matches. And Izzy is going to bust out that rush to try and close it out. Unfortunately, Edel is going to fall out of that rush, but it's not going to matter. Izzy, 1 point away from Grand Finals. Mr. Edel opening up that second round. With the rush, once again, it is not going to connect. Izzy, fortunately, not able to get that punish in. He's going to clash with with Mr. Edel's rush. from the side, which is an interesting interaction, I will say. And yeah, we're back into the long distance game, which we've seen Easy is a master of. An absolute master. He is going to get blown up here though. Once again. And yeah, Mr. Edel slowly but surely taking the advantage. Easy getting caught on wake up every time right now. He's going to avoid most of what's going his way right now, but he is in critical. Once again, both players have rush. There's a good chance Easy might go for the rush to try and close it out and get the win. He is going to get that toaster in though. Bring Mr. Edel back in range of his own health. Mr. Edel getting caught by the Hydra. And yeah! Oh my gosh! This is gonna follow up Mr. Edel's punish rush. Very fortunate here for Izzy, but Mr. Edel still able to take it by a nudge. Which means it's time for round 3 of game 3. Yeah, Izzy struggled a little bit more in that previous round, to be fair. We're seeing Mr. Edel getting back into the rhythm of poking. But right now he is once again getting caught by Izzy. Izzy making some very good poke placements here. Very good reads as well of Mr. Edel's movement. He's got this down to a T. And look at that! Mr. Edel is already at half. He's gonna be able to strike back though, with those chakrams flying in Izzy's face. The Tri-Blast doing its job of blowing up. We're back to mostly even. Slight advantage to Edel. And the rush here by Mr. Edel is going to miss. It's going to get 50 damage in though. Right at the end. And Izzy is going to have to do something to close this out. He's not going to be able to get the rush though. That is an unfortunate development. That might be Mr. Edel's opportunity to get a game in on the board here. And that is indeed going to be the opportunity. Mr. Edel gets one. We're going to game 4. Yeah, the Tri-Blast definitely more efficient in getting those pokes in. That also means that it is Izzy's counter pick, which Edel is going to need to win on, and the counter pick will be Mausoleum. And that's the thing, Coil doesn't care about the trampoline. Coil just doesn't care about the trampoline, so... Mausoleum will save very much a very good stage for neutral, trampoline or not, so... But it is a little bit smaller than DNA Lab, though. Yeah, we are seeing again the chakram from Mr. Edel. That chakram did a lot of work in the previous match, I feel like. So I'm not too surprised to see it back. But once again, we're seeing knockdown after knockdown. We have a slight advantage to Mr. Edel. Getting those chakrams in. But Izzy is going to get that full rush for 330 damage. Evening out the score. Oh, that does mean Mr. Edel right now is on rush. And Mr. Edel manages to catch Izzy with the rush for 210. Just barely. That chakram, man. That chakram. Doing a lot of good for Mr. Edel. Izzy's got rush. Mr. Edel will soon have it as well. Izzy pops rush. And once again closes out the round with the rush. Izzy likes to do that. He'd rather take the point than keep the rush advantage. We've noticed that a lot during this match and during previous matches with Izzy as well. He just likes to close out the rounds rather than keep the rush, but it's going to cost him almost a quarter bar with Mr. Edel just popping out rush from the beginning. Right now, Mr. Edel in a very good position. Although he is going to get knocked down here. Mr. Edel definitely looking a little bit more aggressive, and it was working while he was in Izzy's face. Got a lot of good hits in. Ooh, very nice grab by Izzy. And Izzy's going to be able to avoid the rush as well. Not going to get any punish from it though. Now Izzy is on the poking game. Ooh, and the grab. Izzy's grabbing. He's got the good reads, honestly. And reads the shield once again and gets another grab in. And Izzy is going to move on to Grand Finals. Very nicely played by Izzy. Very nicely done. So yeah, we are going to move on to losers semis. But before that, I'm going to take a short break because I need to get some water in. I will be right back. Sorry about that, everyone. I'm back. And we're going to be back with loser semis with Rifa versus Iceman. But you know what they say, you gotta stay hydrated. You gotta stay hydrated. And especially, not just when you're commentating, by the way. You gotta stay hydrated even when you're playing. And yes, we are seeing the Rifa Misango. We love the Misango. Here is the Misango. And Iceman going bite and bark once again. Rifa with the pokes, the cracker coming in. Very nicely. Rifa on fast mode. Like, look at it, fast boy. Well, now he's not fast anymore, but time for armor mode. No. Got the pillar up. Not gonna do much against that though. And Iceman getting a very nice grab here. So this one is best of 3, by the way. Like, we're back to best of 3. Iceman going for the grab once again. It's not going to land this time. Rifa in fast boy mode. He's going to get knocked out of it by Bark, though. And Iceman in a very dire situation here. He is going to use the rush, but he's not good. Rifa is going to fall out of it. It's still 300 damage, though. Which might have been enough before that hit. And yeah, the pillar is going to block any attempt by Iceman to get the lead back. That is going to be round 1 to Rifa. Rifa going for Megawatt in round 2. Okay, interesting. I mean, we did see the little bit of a disable here from on Iceman's side, which was interesting. Yeah, Megawatt is not an arm you see often. Like that big hulking ball. It's definitely not an arm you see often. Mostly because it doesn't have that much maneuverability as well. Rifa is going to fall out of Iceman's rush though. He's going to answer with a rush of his own. 345 damage on Iceman. Rifa with the health lead right now. He's going to get caught here though. And Rifa honestly not going too much for the masks. He's going to have red mask here, going armor mode. Not for long though. Yeah, that hulking Megawatt finding its target. Could you have yellow mask on? But unfortunately it's not going to do much against Iceman's rush though. Because Rifa didn't get the rush in time, but he is going to get that win here. A nice cracker coming in. And that's going to be 1-0 to Rifa. And remember, the winner of this match gets to fight not 1, but 2 coils. The spooky, scary doctor. Yeah, Iceman picking Via Dolce for that second match. Which I think is the first time we see Via Dolce today, so... Via Dolce is an interesting stage, with the punches going through the public. Just going through the public, yeah. But it was also an interesting stage to snuff out movement, which means less opportunities to go blue for Riffa. But to be fair, Riffa hasn't been using mods too much in game 1, so I don't think it will matter too much. Riffa, however, right now, maintaining that armor mode. And getting the pokes in once again. Iceman is going to get that parasol in. Sorry about that. And Riffa right now in yellow mode, which means full invincibility when going for rush. Which could be very scary, because if Iceman wants to press the rush button, he's not going to be able to get anything, and that's what's going to happen, but he's going to be able to block that though. Riffa dropping the yellow mask. Iceman is going to go for rush himself, but he's going to get knocked out though. Ooh, and the Seeky's gonna blow up in Riffa, in Iceman's face. Riffa going for the grab, but unfortunately not going to be quite enough to KO. But Iceman is on 1 pixel right now. There is nothing Iceman can do at this point. And Riffa's just going to block from across the stage, and that's going to be round 2 Riffa. Time to go to round 2. Riffa back in yellow mask with full rush. Asserting dominance. But he's going to get knocked out of it. Thanks to that toaster, sorry. Riffa gets the yellow mask back. We're fighting behind the barrier. Just behind the barrier. And here's the full invincibility coming in clutch. But unfortunately, Riffa is not going to be able to land the rush. He's going to land a Mega Watt though. And right now, Riffa in a very good position. He's going to be able to block Iceman's rush as well. The shield is kind of low, which is going to be something Riffa is going to have to take care of. But he manages to recover it though, pretty easily. Riffa gonna get knocked out of speed mode right now. Iceman on the verge of dying, and he's going to take a hit caught by that rush. That is going to be it. Riffa going to lose his finals. Which means the Coil Gauntlet begins. Ooh. This is spooky season after all. Yeah, we're going to see Riffa go against Mr. Edel. In losers finals. But before that, let's remind you all that next week is the ARMS EU PR Invitational happening on October 9th at 7 PM CEST. The best players in Europe facing each other for a prize pot of 100 euros. Make sure to type in invitational, exclamation mark invitational in the chat to be able to contribute to that prize pot, which once again is already at 100 euros. Also, Quarantine Report 4 coming up on November 12th to 14th. ARMS will be back there again in a global tournament for charity, for Direct Relief, who is funding research against COVID-19. So make sure to check them out, register, There's a prize pool there as well, provided by Wolf TV. So yeah, it's going to be fun times. And as for what I will do next, next Tuesday, we'll be discovering Multi-Blood Type Lumina on the Nintendo Switch. This is a free play session, this is the Playing Grounds. It's going to be on Tuesday at 21 CEST, so if you want to discover new fighting game, like, I've played what? 20 minutes of it? And it's just going to be a free play lobby, everyone can come in, and it's going to be good fun. But back to ARMS. It is time for Rifa to face the Coil Gauntlet, starting with Losers Finals, Mr. Edel. And yeah, Rifa definitely in format. I don't want to fight the Coils with anything other than my Misango, which is understandable. Rifa going for the opening grab, very bold of him. And Rifa already in yellow mask as well. Now he can match Mr. Edel's rush building with that yellow mask. He's going to go for red mask now though. Try to get that armor, which isn't going to do much, I feel like, against the Guardian and the Hydra. Drones are going to be charged very often, more often than not, I feel like. But Rifa is already at a 50% health lead against Mr. Edel. Rifa just going in and in. He now has yellow mask. Mr. Edel is going to be able to knock him out of it though. But Rifa doesn't care. He's going for rush and it's going to get blocked by Mr. Edel. So Mr. Edel right now has rush. Can make something happen if he wants to. Like Coil, again, has very quick rush building. Thanks to her free arms. But instead, Mr. Edel is just going to play the patient game. Which is understandable. It has been working for him during this entire tournament. Unfortunately, he is going to get caught here. By the cool ring. And Mr. Edel with the opening rush. Already getting those 25% off of Rifa. The Rifa is responding back. Now in speedy mode. Just going to try to avoid everything. Unfortunately, not going to be able to land the rush. But he is going to get the cool rank chain right here. Chain is broken. Mr. Edel recognizing the situation and blocking perfectly. Now we're back in the neutral position. Mr. Edel denying the mask. Ooh, but Rifa denying the rush. Rifa slowly getting back into this game as well. Mr. Edel's shield is low. That Guardian arm is weak and the rush is going to take it. That is going to be game 1-2. Rifa. And as a reminder, Losers Finals is best of 5, so we're back to best of 5 territory. Let's not waste any time and go to the lab. Back to the lab again. Yeah, Rifa in red mask right away. He's gonna get knocked out of it though. Mr. Edel with The Triblast and the Toaster, very good arms for poking overall. Riffa also going for poking arms with the Cracker and also that cool ring that worked so well in the previous round. Right now, Mr. Edel managing to land the first rush of that game, getting Riffa to a very nice deficit. But we've seen that Riffa is very good at getting those pokes in and coming back slowly but surely. Already making up the deficit and now has the lead. He does have a red mask, he does have armor. He's going for the rush. Gonna be able to get the full rush 330. That is going to be round 2 Riffa. I was not expecting that to kill, to be fair. And Riffa managing to block all that rush. However, his shield is low right now. Both arms are weak. He is going to get knocked out of the air here. But it's not as bad as the shield break. That was an interesting grab. Hello? Mr. Edel bringing Riffa back through the pillar? That was interesting. Yeah, Riffa and Yellow Mask. In prime position to use Rush right now. If Mr. Edel doesn't knock him out of it first. Riffa is at a deficit. And yes, here's the full invincibility you get from Yellow Mask when in Rush. Putting that to good use to counter Edel's own Rush. Edel might have been a little bit too trigger happy here. But we are back in a neutral position. Mr. Edel using that last pillar in order to hide very efficiently. Manages to get the lead back, gets the grab in. Riffa one hit away from dying. No reason to use Rush here. Ooh, and I don't think that's going to be enough. Yeah, that is going to be round to Mr. Edel, with just a smidgen of health as an extra. And Mr. Edel starting strong with that full rush as well, and the grab. 50% off of Riffa already, and we're only for 20 seconds in the match. But Riffa trying to strike back. Mr. Edel recognizing the aggression from Riffa, going for aggression of his own. Riffa getting punished hard a lot here, and that is going to be it. Quick round for Mr. Edel, equalizing the score 1-1. Yeah, that was interesting because talking about that grab earlier, yeah, Mr. Edel swerved around the pillar in terms of the grab, but because of how the grab, the return worked, Riffa just went through the pillar. And it is spooky season, we are going back to Mausoleum. I am not convinced, like this is Riffa's pick too, so I'm not completely convinced about the Mausoleum pick against Core, to be fair. But so far we have seen that the trampoline doesn't come out. It might change very quickly though. Very solid floor today on Mausoleum. And yeah, Riffa following what happened last game, playing the distance game, can't blame him for it. Trying to go for a little bit more patience Because clearly the aggression, the full-on aggression wasn't working. He does have Yellow Mask. He's gonna get a rush out of it. And yeah, just going to burn out Rush to prevent Mr. Edel's own rush. Fortunately not gonna get much damage out of the rush. But that is fine, at least he avoided the rush. Cancelled the grab and avoided the rush. Which is the important part. And right now the situation is looking very dire for Mr. Edel. You get poked here. There are 24 seconds. You can do things within 24 seconds. This is how it starts. Mr. Edel just needs to land the rush if he wants to come back in this. But I think in this situation it would be a little bit smarter to just get the round over with. And yeah, that is going to be an easy win for Rifa here. No need to waste that rush from Mr. Edel. We're going to keep it for round 2. That is very smart. Very good meter management. And Rifa back in Yellow Mask is going to get that rush in. Once again. And yeah, once again, Rifa just burning out rush just to prevent the rush from Mr. Edel. But I think that was more or less a bait from Mr. Edel, to be fair. Recognizing the situation, knowing that Rifa might be a little bit trigger happy, so he just used the rush in order for Rifa to waste his own rush and get a little bit more time. Very nicely played. And Mr. Edel trying to go for the rush here, but it's not going to land. Rifa in red mask, getting knocked out. Rifa now in yellow mask. Busts out the rush, but Mr. Edel blocking that rush fully. He's going for the grab, but it's not going to land. But we're back on Rifa's aggression, and he's going to get punished hard for it. Grunting the round to Mr. Edel. And now going into round 3. Rush isn't going to land for Mr. Edel, and that is going to be a terrible situation for Rifa with the trampoline being out. That knockdown was just enough to reveal the trampoline, but right now, Rifa doesn't care. Just applying the pressure through and through, but Mr. Edel is going to slowly but surely come back. Look at Mr. Edel flying just over that trampoline. He doesn't care. One single bit. And that rush is not going to be quite enough to take it, but it's going to put Rifa in a very dangerous position. With hampered movement. Just going to be on the edge of that trampoline with an edge of life. It also makes it very hard for Rifa to get those masks in. And that is just what Mr. Edel needed. 2-1 to Mr. Edel. Once again, this is best of 5. Mr. Edel hasn't won yet. Rifa can come back from this, but will he? And to do so, we are going back to the lab. In a minute or two. And now Rifa switching it up to the Ninjara. Definitely thinks that the Misango wasn't doing as well as he wanted for that. Yeah, Rifa definitely having a much easier time dodging everything Mr. Edel is throwing at him right now as Ninjara. Using that much more mobile character. After all, the Misango can be very mobile, but it does require him to have Blue Mask. It's just going to be much easier for Ninjara to escape anything that comes in his way. He's gonna get blown up here though. And Rifa's gonna counter that grab with a rush, not gonna get the full damage though, but 260 is still very good damage here. And Rifa putting Mr. Edel in critical with a 50% health lead. A little bit more than 50%. The switch looking like it does wonders for him. But Mr. Edel isn't out of it yet. That Tri-Blast in the face. Mr. Edel isn't too far from making the comeback. But he is one hit away from dying. And the Tri-Blast is going to take it here. Rifa's Ninjara switch showing that it has legs in a game of arms. Mr. Edel is going to be able to get that confirmed rush for 300 damage. Going into round 2, Rifa is going to answer back right away with his own 355 damage rush. Right now, Mr. Edel definitely recognizing the situation, definitely recognizing that Rifa has much more movement options at his disposal as Ninjara. Just needed a little bit of time to readjust. And we're back in the poking game. Yeah, Mr. Edel doing a much better job in this round, catching Rifa's movement. Gonna be able to take that second round. Now, starting this third round, Rifa is going to get the Ice Dragon in. Gonna be able to hamper Mr. Edel's impeccable movement. The shield is low on Edel's side. And the arm is down. It's going to lead to a rush. No! The shield comes back just in time to save Mr. Edel. He still takes all of the chip damage, but still. Rifa was just a little too far. And Mr. Edel starting to strike back. Going for a grab, but his rush is going to get snuffed out here. He's going to be able to catch the Ninjara teleport though. And again, the Tri-Blast is doing a lot of work for both players. Ooh, and the rush is going to blow up back into Rifa's own face. Rifa is still in a very good position here. Although he is backed up in the corner. Mr. Edel not able to find the rush here. Leaving Rifa to go out of the corner pretty much for free as well. And yeah, that is going to be Rifa's game to win. We are going to game 5. Will Rifa be able to put an end to Mr. Edel's reign? Right then and there. We shall see. And we are going back to Mausoleum. We're seeing a lot of Mausoleum today. It do be the spooky season after all. The season of spooky, scary skeletons and Dr. Coles, apparently. A very good switch from Rifa. He is going to stick to Ninjara, obviously. Trying to close it out with Ninjara in this matchup. Right now, the poking game is at the advantage of Rifa. Going for a wide grab. That was one wide grab. The short range grab, though, is going to be the one that lands, though. And already Mr. Edel in critical, and that is going to be death! What a dominating round by Rifa. And also that was an early swing here. Roll back the netcode doing thing. And Rifa looking determined to stop Mr. Edel and try to exterminate the cold play, going for a rush, going for a confirm, getting the full confirm. And once again, dominating Mr. Edel, who is now on his last legs in this tournament. And that is going to be it. A quick game 5 by Rifa, which allows him to move on to Grand Finals. Which means he will get to face Izzy, but he does need to win twice against Izzy to put an end to Cole's reign of terror in this bracket. Very well played by both players. And for the first game of Grand Finals, we are going back to Mausoleum. And Rifa sticking with the Ninjara going into that new match. By the way, I haven't updated the score. Yeah, there we go. That's better. Going too fast. And yeah, what we're seeing right now is much more even than what we saw just before with Mr. Edel. But as I say that, Rifa is starting his unrelenting offense on Izzy. There's another grab! Both players have rush. But yeah, the pressure from Rifa is unrelenting. He's got it. He is in his groove. He is warmed up from fighting Edel. And he's going to take that first round off of Izzy. Rifa going insane right now. He's going to get caught a little bit by Izzy's rush, but not by much. He's going to get that grab though. Is he trying to slow down the match a little bit more in order to go back into a neutral heavy stance? But Rifa does not want to let out the pressure anytime soon. He's gonna go for a rush. Izzy's gonna be able to avoid it, but Izzy's gonna be unable to punish as well. Izzy is stuck in ice. He's gonna get knocked down. Izzy on his last HP. Riffa able to avoid the grab, and that's going to be it. That is game 1 to Riffa. Riffa's unrelenting pressure. The Ninjara doing a lot of work. And we are going to Via Dolce. I assume Izzy wants to hamper the movement of that Ninjara. It just so happens to go everywhere in this matchup. And I feel like Izzy is going to attempt to just slow down the pace by going into Via Dolce, but at the same time, if Riffa can get Izzy in that corner, it is going to be over very quick. And right now, Riffa is the one with the back to the wall. But this is the very beginning of game 2, so anything can happen. Riffa's struggling to get out of here. Stuck in the corner. He's going to get a little bit of leeway here. Going for the grab. Izzy counters with a grab of their own in order to prevent that grab. We're turning around the central plaza right now. Dragon Arm catching Izzy's movement. Riffa is back in the corner after a very nice grab from Izzy. And that Izzy is going to drop the confirm. Izzy is actually going to drop the confirm. This could be Riffa's chance to go back in this round. To come back in this round. Riffa is going to go for rush and is going to close it out. Getting another round on the table. Yeah, going into round 2, Riffa now going full aggression mode on Izzy. Determined to get him stuck into one of these dang corners. Unfortunately, he's going to get blown back here. We're just dancing around the central plaza right now. Izzy is going to be able to land a little bit of that rush for 230 damage. And we are now seeing an even game. Although Riffa right now does have rush advantage. Now Riffa with the pressure. Izzy in the corner. This could be it. This is it. This is it. Riffa now one game away from the reset. Just like that. And we're going to get the straight up run back on Via Dolce. Izzy definitely feeling a little bit more comfortable on that stage, I feel like. But still, it is Riffa we're talking about. Riffa is very much there. And ready to take down the opponent, and right away freezes Izzy in his boots. Riffa is in the corner, but he's the one applying the pressure right now. He is going to get a little bit interrupted here by Izzy. The lockjaw as well. I didn't notice. Izzy's got the lockjaw and the Scully. A very different set. And once again, no confirm off of that. I think Izzy was looking for that explosion from the lockjaw to confirm off. But unfortunately it wasn't meant to be. But Riffa is going to be able to get the rush in. Izzy in the corner, gets a little bit out. Riffa backs out in the other corner. And yeah, Riffa doesn't care about being in the corner right now. He's just going for it. Applying that pressure relentlessly. He knows there's 23 seconds. It's going to be very hard for Izzy to come back, and he will not come back from that. One more round for Riffa to get that reset. Already Izzy is doing a much greater job right now with that nade. No, that nade, not the chiller. This is a chiller. For a moment I thought that was a nade. Yeah, the chiller working out much better than the lockjaw right now, I feel like. Already pinning down Riffa in the corner, but Riffa is just going to get out with the rush. Unfortunately, the end is going to get blocked, so he's not going to get that much out. Ooh, and Izzy is not going to get anything out of the ice here. And Riffa just came back like that. There's going to be a reset for Riffa. Just like that. Izzy on that last run was looking very strong. But Riffa, just like that, makes it up. And we got no time to waste. We're going straight into a reset. We're going into Mausoleum. Riffa wants this. Riffa wants to end the terror. Yeah, going into Mausoleum for the first match of the reset. This is a reset, so the previous set has no bearing on this one. But this is going to be our last set for the day. Riffa going back to the Misango. For all this time, using Ninjara, he's going back to the Misango. Probably to try and throw off Izzy's rhythm. But also trying to show that he can do it with the Misango. Going for rush. Not going to get the full rush, unfortunately. Not going to get the shield break either, which allows Izzy to get a grab as a punish. And Izzy's going to be able to get that rush. It's not going to be enough to kill, though. But however, that poke, that nade, is going to be enough to take a round off of Riffa. And yes, going into round 2. We do have a little bit more of an aggressive Izzy on the field. But Riffa getting all the pokes in, all of them, all those tracker pokes. Riffa going for rush, but not gonna get anything out of it. He's even gonna get punished for it. Ooh, and the confirm off of the explosion. Izzy in a very good position right now, but he's gonna get poked. Gotta have to be a little bit careful about the cracker, and Riffa is going to die off of that. Izzy takes the first game in this reset. But yeah, Izzy showing signs of life against Rifa's Misango. But I do wonder if Rifa is going to go back to the Ninjara. We are going to Via Dolce. And no, Rifa's sticking with the Misango right now. And already Rifa getting blue mask as the opener. Doing a nice Hoolerang hit on Izzy. And those Strive Blast pokes also working out very well for Rifa right now. Rifa now is in the corner. Rifa applying the pressure in the corner. Izzy managed to get out. Manages to get out. Ooh, but Rifa catches Izzy off guard with the rush. And yeah, Rifa's just gonna get that run with Misango. With the Tri-Blast. Yeah, going into round 2, Izzy does have double roaster on deck. Which technically can be triple roasters. But this is still a stage that does limit the movement. And Izzy there is going to get blown up twice. Again. By the Tri-Blast. Rifa in yellow mask. Again, got that option on deck. Not anymore. Rifa jumps over the grab. Gets Izzy in the corner off of that. Izzy is going to slowly get out. Ooh, but he's not going to land the rush, and he's going to get the arm down, but he's not going to be able to get much out of it because Izzy's going to be able to punish with the other arm. Izzy going for rush, he's going to get punished for it! And Rifa is going to close it out with a grab. Rifa's Misango on the board. And the counter pick will be Mausoleum. Moving straight into the next match. You better not blink because it's going fast. Yeah, Rifa wants to do it with the Misango. He can do it as well with the Misango, I'm pretty sure. Especially if he plays like that. Red Mask is on deck. Going for the grab, it's not going to hit. But right now, the Rifa pressure is on deck. It's going to be able to armor through the nade with that Red Mask. In fact, Izzy doesn't have anything to deal with the Red Mask at the time. He does have Rush, but not going to get Rifa to get knocked out of the Red Mask. Does not have the tools for it. And Rifa's just going for pressure on and on and on again. And Rifa is going to take that first round. And now we have Rifa with Yellow Mask. Is he recognizing that he didn't have anything to deal with the Red Mask? Use the roaster. Equip the roaster on his arm. But River right now, he is on yellow mask. Does have that opportunity for full invincibility. And yeah, Rifa is going to go straight for the roll rush, going for 290 damage. Right now, Rifa is in a very good position. The floor is also relatively not broken. Which means the stage right now is favoring Rifa as well. Yeah, Izzy's gonna need to do something. It starts with the grab. It starts with the grab. Rifa has slowed down. This is Izzy's chance to get in. But as I say that, Rifa's getting the pokes in. The tri-ball, tri-blast, tri-blast. Pokes are going in. And yeah, Rifa's just gonna finish off with the chip damage. Izzy just drops the shield. And it is 2-1 to Rifa. One game away from winning the U-Arms Challenge. And we're going straight back into Mausoleum. No changes. Izzy is definitely going for a much more anti-red combo here. With those electrics on deck. And the roaster. But Rifa's on blue right now. Rifa is on blue right now. Gonna be able to play very much the dodge game. With that blue mask. He's gonna get knocked out off of blue though. That was an interesting input from Izzy. Going right around Rifa. I guess that was supposed to be a grab, but that was a misinput. Yeah, Izzy does have the advantage right now by a slight health lead. But Rifa is going to get the lead back right there. He does have yellow arm on deck as well. Which makes it dangerous for Izzy to go for rush. And yeah, Izzy's going to go for the rush bait. He's going to get his shield broken, but not going to get much damage because he does get knocked down. And right now, Izzy on a one hit away from critical, pretty much. He is going to be able to get that grab, though. Just barely. And he's going to make the comeback slowly but surely against Rifa. Who's also one hit away from critical. Izzy is in critical right now. Now, will Izzy bust out the rush? Yes. And it's going to be just enough to get the win over Rifa. We're going straight into round 2. Rifa in red mask. Except this time Izzy does have all the arms he needs to get him out of it. But right now Rifa is dishing out the pain. He is going to get blown up here by the Siki, leading to a grab from Izzy. And once again, the Siki catching Rifa off guard. Just does a lot of damage. Rifa going back on the offensive for the pressure. He's gonna get caught here by Izzy. He's gonna get caught again on the roll in. He's gonna get caught again. Rifa going for the rush of his own, close out the round, doing an easy here. Using that rush to close out the round. He wants to finish it off right then and there, if he can. Right now, everything from Izzy is getting blocked by the pillar. He's going to get a hit in here. Not the C key, thankfully for Rifa. He is going to get grabbed here, though. And Izzy right now is on the advantage state. Towering over Rifa. Now going back to a more distance game. But Rifa's gonna be able to block that rush quite easily. Not gonna be eating any damage today from that. And Rifa's in red. Rifa's on red, I mean. Once again, able to apply the pressure on Izzy and making sure to have that rush in. It's not going to be enough to kill, but Izzy is one hit away from dying. This could be Rifa's chance. And there it is! Rifa managing to reset the bracket and take the EU Arms Challenge 81. Taking down the Coil Menace. Very well done by Rifa. G to the G's. But yeah, congratulations for Rifa for pulling off the bracket reset in a commanding fashion, even going as far as going Misango for the reset match. Congratulations as well to Izzy, very well played. Which means we've got Rifa in first, Izzy in second, and Mr Edel in third. Congratulations to all the players, and thanks to them for playing. Thanks everyone as well for watching, that is always appreciated.